um, I'll take it from you.
Okay, cool. So hello
Yeah.
everyone. If there's anyone there, I hope so. Welcome to the 1 p.m. webinar. So I know this is a bit of a strange time for a lot of people. I know lots of people tend to have lunch at this time. If anyone does join us at some point, don't forget to introduce yourselves because we love it when people can interact with us and we love to meet all of the students from all over Italy. Yes, and Seth has just put a really nice banner at the bottom. So please introduce
For all of our
yourselves,
non-viewers.
everybody. Hey, someone will come, okay? Okay, so even for people watching later, I think we should still introduce ourselves. So do you want to start, Seth? See, one viewer. I told you
Sure.
someone would come.
Yeah, there they are. Hello. Hello,
Welcome.
viewer. My name is Seth Knight from the United States. I've been here in Italy, in Milan, for 3.5 years. I'm 37 years old. I like music, and
Hi,
I
Lamine.
actually do have something. Lavinia was in my last webinar too. Hi, Lavinia again. um, Lavinia is from our school. So, Lavinia, you should take a good look at Jadene because soon you will see her in person. You two will
If I'm
meet.
not
It will
arrested.
happen. If you say it.
I have a question, Seth. Is your surname Knight like the nighttime or Knight like the soldier, the medieval soldier?
Like the soldier, the good one. Yeah, it's a good.
My surname is Squires.
I, is what sire?
Squires.
Wow, that's
Squires.
kind of fun. The knight and squires. That's fun.
Exactly. It's cute. I like it. I like it. Okay. And yet, Lavinia, if you don't know, it's not that exciting. But a squire is like the old-fashioned servant type to a knight, or like an apprentice. We'll say like apprentice.
I would imagine, like, did you watch Game of Thrones? Because I'm sure you
I
hear that
did.
word all the time in Game of Thrones.
Yes.
No?
Podrick. Podrick was a squire. Everyone
Yeah,
likes Pod.
exactly. That's right. He was a nice guy, poor Podrick.
Yeah. Exactly. Um, so yes, I'm Jadene. I'm from London in England. And I also live and teach in Milan, but I've only been here for 6 months. So it's been really a crazy time, as I'm sure you can all imagine. Um, so yes, I see we have another viewer. Introduce yourself. Show yourself to us.
Yeah.
Reveal yourself. Um, but we'll move on to the lesson. So today we are looking at the focus activity strength in numbers. So maybe my computer has also been slow, so we have to give it some time. Seth, do you want to read the beginning slide?
Yeah, so in this focus activity, common number idioms and guessing the meanings of expressions and then practice using the expressions. I like this lesson. It's got a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, I like it too. It's full of language and vocabulary, which I think really at a higher level is so nice to have, especially more kind of colloquial or idiomatic language. It's really nice. It makes you sound really fluent.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I like even the little pun in the title of this, a number of
Yeah.
meanings. So, what is the meaning of the word number in the following sentences? And maybe Seth and I will read one each, and while we're reading, you guys can just guess in the comments. You can put the number and what you think the word number means. Okay, so do you want to start?
Yeah. Um, I remember the first time I taught this lesson and not thinking about the word number, and how here we have 5 examples where number is 5 different things. I thought that's really cool about English.
Yeah,
So
English is really special. It's a
it's a
really special
number.
language.
It'll do a number on you. Uh,
Oh, extra one, bonus.
so,
Okay.
oh boy, time for lunch. Uh, okay, so first one, I'm reading now. I'm going. So I was writing a banner. That's what's taking me so long. Okay, there. I'm ready. A number of meanings. Number one, there were a number of people at the market today.
Nice. Number two, she wore a little black number to the party.
Number three, for his last number, he sang a beautiful ballad.
Number four, could you order these pages and then number them?
And five, she died yesterday. I guess her number was up. What?
Wow, it got dark. But I
It
just
did.
while we're waiting to see if Lavinia or anyone else who appears gives us any comments. Even for number four, it's quite interesting because we have two different meanings of the word order. So order can of course mean to request to have something like in a restaurant, or through Amazon online you can make an order. But in this context
Mhm.
it means to put something in order. So to put something in a sequential, no, to put something in a sequence, I would say, in like a logical
Mhm.
sequence. um so yeah, just as I was reading that I thought, oh, it's strange, we have very few words I'm learning in English. Or actually, we have many words. Hi, Alessandro. Welcome.
Hello.
Um, I think we have actually a lot of words because when someone tells me a word in Italian, it's really similar to an English word that we have, but that we just don't use because it sounds too formal. So we tend to
Mhm.
just use fewer words to mean several things, which I find
That's
funny.
true. Yeah. At
Yeah.
times, even Italian speakers, because they're looking for words, as an Italian speaker speaking, sometimes I've even heard very beginner Italian speakers
Mhm.
use beautiful vocabulary, English
Yeah.
vocabulary, because they're using an Italian word. And I remember once a student used the word systematize. They told me that on the weekend they systematized the kitchen, and I was like, systematize, wow.
Yeah, no, it's a great word, but we just wouldn't use it. And it's not that it's not
Yeah,
correct. It's just this vocabulary tends to be, far more formal. Whereas we
yeah.
would just say in every situation, and maybe so we'd say in every situation, I ordered or I organized at work, I organized a
Mhm.
group of people, um,
Right.
rather than, yeah, so it's funny. Um, okay, so maybe we can start going through some of these then.
I think it's a good
So for
idea. Yeah.
number one, for number one, Seth, you can be my beautiful assistant. So what does the
Sure.
word number mean in there were a number of people at the market?
A number of people just sort of means you didn't count the number, the exact number. So a number of people to me would mean there were not a huge amount, but there were people there. It's kind of just general. There were a number
Yeah,
of people. Mhm.
yeah. I'd say it means there were quite a few. Okay, it doesn't give us the answers. But yeah,
No.
so a number of people just means, yeah, there were quite a few people, but I didn't count them.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um, and then we have number two. She wore a little black number. What is a little black number?
I like this one. It's just kind of
I
fun
like
because
it
it's so,
too.
so strange. A little black number is referring, like, to me, I picture a dress, like a little black dress, but it's basically
Yeah.
the clothes, like, and it has the idea that probably it was a bit like, probably, I don't know, I'm thinking the word sexy, but it doesn't have to be,
Yeah,
but
no,
like,
I'm thinking, but I think that as well. I think if
Yeah.
it's something
So
with a number, especially little as well, it's
yeah.
like a sexy little outfit. Because have you ever
Mhm.
heard a black number be referred to, or any color number be referred to for men's clothing?
I don't think so.
No,
Have
me
you?
either.
No, it's
No,
definitely a woman's thing, and I don't know why, how it got, why we use it that way, but
no.
yeah.
Maybe I'll look it up later because I'm curious.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then for number three, for his last number, what does this mean?
In this case, and it's really specific for a concert, for a musical concert, and
Yeah,
probably live music. Um, it's the song for his last
yeah.
song he sang. Um, I would say too, though, like more. Would you say like pop music? Like I don't at an orchestra, you wouldn't use number, but with a singer, like a person on stage performing live, in a more pop concert, so not pop concert, but just in that, at a classical concert, we don't use number, we use piece. So
Oh, that's true. That's true. So please, but yeah, I'd say just for any kind of concert, you could say for someone's last number. Maybe even I'm imagining like in a bar where maybe they have live piano or something for the last number.
yeah,
So I would definitely say
yeah.
it's live music.
Mhm.
Um, so then for number four, could you order these pages and then number them?
Is this the only one where it's a verb? So in this case, to number, which is well, not necessarily to count them, but to write the numbers on the page.
Yeah. So here number actually means number.
Yeah.
Okay. And then finally we have the whole phrase, her number was up.
Oh, so this yeah, this it means like well, obviously from the first part, she died yesterday. Her number was up,
Mm,
so it's referring to the amount of time you have to live, and so her number was up. It was time for her to
yeah.
die.
Yeah, it was time. I don't know if that comes from maybe from bingo or the lottery or something where they call your numbers.
Ah, I think you
I
might.
think
I
I
think it
think it
might
comes
be.
that it's like a sadistic lottery because well maybe no one knows
Yeah,
what happens after death. Maybe it's a party, but
but I do think
I'm
it's the
not so
idea
sure.
that death is what's the word? It's kind of the luck of the draw. You don't know when you're going to
I like
die.
that.
So when death when death calls your number, it's time.
Yeah,
So
exactly, exactly. And then there's all those kind of stories about people cheating death. But then that's where the Final Destination films came from, wasn't it? A group of people
they're
who cheated
fantastic.
death, but
They're
no,
so
no, it
crazy.
was gonna, it was gonna find you.
I love that movie because like it's so much fun at the beginning of a scene when you realize, okay, that person is gonna die in the kitchen. And then you start looking
Yeah.
around, you're like, okay, there's a knife on the table, there's this, and you think you have it planned, but no one dies
Yeah.
in any way you could ever predict and
No, it was
imagine.
always something gruesome and just
Oh my god.
elaborate, over the top. I'll always remember one,
Crazy.
maybe from the second or third film, because I've not seen them in years. But tell me if you remember a woman with a really long plait or a really long braid in her hair. Did you ever see this one?
I don't think so.
Oh, it was
What
horrible.
happened to her?
I won't tell you everything, but I'll tell you she had a long braid. There was a box full of fishing hooks and an elevator involved. So you
I
just
don't stop. That's enough. Yeah. And some
you
blood,
can
I
work the
think.
rest
A
out
bit of blood.
for yourself. So moving on,
Yes.
lucky numbers. So which numbers? And again, for anyone watching, please let us know. Because I'm just curious for my own knowledge.
Yeah.
Which numbers are considered lucky or unlucky in your country or in any country? as well, if you have heard of numbers being lucky or not in certain places, then also tell us.
Hmm.
And then for number 2, which numbers do you know off by heart? And off by heart just means you know it without having to think.
Did I have
So
a
do you know
question?
your
Do you
turn?
say
Hmm.
do you say know off? Because in my American English, I would just say, what numbers do you know by heart?
Yeah, we say off by heart.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I know it off by heart. Which as well, until I started teaching these focus activities, I didn't realize how idiomatic English is ridiculous. So yeah, this can be telephone numbers, bank codes, license plates. Your code is fiscale. I know off by heart my national insurance number, which is kind of the same thing. But I don't know why I know it off by heart. I think just because I knew it was an important number, so I have it in mind all the time. And then what is your lucky number and why is it lucky for you? So, Seth, question number 1.
Okay.
Are there
In
any
my
lucky or unlucky numbers? Yes, in America or in Ohio or
I don't think I think at this point the United States, maybe we have sort of like leftover ideas of lucky numbers, but not anything that really people really there's not a lot of superstition around those numbers. But I would say like
yeah.
maybe 7 or 3, one, maybe 1, 3, 7. Friday the 13th. So
Yeah.
13 being a bad number, which is weird because in Italy it's not Friday the 13th. It's like Friday the 17th or something. I don't remember, but it's not.
Ah,
And I remember like, why? That's weird. Uh, um, but 13. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know, like not particularly. Like,
I feel like there's always the feeling that odd numbers tend to be more unlucky than even
uh,
numbers, and I'm not sure why. Although I think in China the unlucky number is 4, or maybe it's Japan. I don't know,
it's
and
4, and
I don't want to be racist as well, just by being like
no,
one
no,
of
I
these,
know. I lived
but
there
I'm not
for
sure
three
which one.
years,
Oh,
and it is.
really? In
It's
China?
4 because
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
I
and the
remember.
reason why is that um, the word for in Chinese is se, and
Okay.
it is the same word that sound. It also means death.
Ah, and you
Thing.
think someone would
So
just
that's
change it?
I know, right? But but and the Chinese actually love. They have a lot of like
Superstition?
they're much more yeah, a lot more superstitious than us. And
Mm,
so like and it's in a difficult part of Chinese is actually that they have very few sounds in Chinese compared to
really?
English. And yeah, and so like one sound can have hundreds, and I'm serious, hundreds of meanings. You have to see the word and hear it in context to know. And
Okay,
even the way they
that's
talk about language is
fascinating.
very different. Yeah. And so like all of
Hmm,
the numbers though have multiple meanings. And you know, like you often see peaches in like if you see like a god or something, the peach is a
oh, sure.
symbol in Chinese stuff, because I don't remember how you say peach in Chinese, but like, and I'm inventing all of this, but just to show you like as an example of how, you know, but like the sound for peach can mean so many things that any so and I know that peach is like a symbol of like abundance, but because
Okay.
it's the same word in Chinese, like peach, flower, vase,
Oh,
abundance, love,
oh, it's
happy, they're
nice.
all the same word. So like I'm making all
Wow.
of that up. But
But yeah, but then
but
I
like
guess you can't really think, I think, about such different languages. You couldn't think in direct translation because it just wouldn't
no.
work. Like, I think you completely have to change your mindset if you try to learn a language just with a completely
Well, you get
different
into a lot
route.
of like other types of communication then, because
Yeah,
a symbol can represent many words, which is why their symbols, like for us going to Asia, is so different because all of their symbols are, they have different connections to things. Goodness, we
what's
just
fun.
became so deep, crazy.
No, but I think it's so interesting, though, just the differences in language. I remember I was in Indonesia once, and a girl I met told me that in Baha, Indonesian, they don't use tenses, which I find
Hmm.
crazy because I think my favorite part about English language is tenses. Just because it's how I think in my mind. It's how I like organize my thoughts and blah blah blah. So just the thought that they don't exist, I cannot like release my mind enough to even begin to understand what that must be like.
I
So,
read an article once about this, about languages, because their Chinese doesn't have tense either, and a lot of languages don't. And I
oh,
read it was like a psychology, the psychology of language and things. And this study found, I found this to be really, really fascinating. um, because there are a lot of studies happening now with language and psychology, and how your language does a lot about it structures how you think in many
oh no,
ways.
I'm
And
sure, I'm sure.
yeah, and so this article, this paper was saying that languages that don't have tense, first of all, people don't tend in those cultures, people are tend to be like less punctual because there isn't I'll meet you in 5 minutes. It's just meeting,
Ah,
right? So time is
okay.
they don't, and then also with money, cultures with tense tend to save money less because we can say I'll start tomorrow, because we can wait to save our money. And our idea of, which is really fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
cultures without tense, they tend to be better with their money because there's like an immediate sense of money all the time, whereas we can say, well, I'll
Strange.
start tomorrow saving my money. It's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, no, really.
Procrastination
So
can't exist
different.
if you have no time, if you have no tenses.
Well, that's what they say. Time is a concept. So,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Uh, okay, but
yeah.
moving on. So, which numbers do you know off by heart?
I mean, I forget my own phone number nowadays because everything is stored in our
Yeah,
phones.
I think there's less pressure now to remember things and remember numbers. When I was a child, obviously, they always used to teach us, remember your address, remember this, remember that. But now I don't need
Yeah,
to.
because I mean, I know my address, my zip code, the postal code. I do know my mother's cell phone number, just
But has
because
it been the same for years?
well, and the reason yeah, that's the reason I know it, is because it was actually our house number before cell phones. So it's been the phone number
Wow. Okay.
for years and years and years. Um, but yeah, I mean, I remember my old phone numbers. My first phone number growing up was 967-8448. That was my phone number when I was like
Ooh.
6 years old. And you know, but my parents have a house phone now that I don't even have the phone number for that phone because I use their cell phone. I don't even know why they have
Cool.
that phone, to be honest. Why do they need it? But
A sense of home, maybe.
yeah.
Okay. So
How
the
about
last
you?
one. Do I know any numbers? Not really. I have a few phone numbers in my head, but I don't know what they're for anymore. So I have a house phone number in my mind. I don't know if it was the house phone number when I was a child, or of when we used to live with my grandma, or of our first house, or of the home that my family live in now. I don't think it's the one they live in now. There's just this random number
It's
in my
a
mind.
useless number in your head. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to make room for more important numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your lucky number? Do you have a lucky number?
I don't really think I do. The
No, me
only like
either.
the closest I can get to this, but this is more just of like a quirky thing about me is if
Okay.
I'm adjusting volumes on TV or whatever, if the volume has a number, I want it to be an even number.
I've seen there are strange people like you. Yes, I've seen this
Thank you.
before. I remember memes. Memes have taught me so much about different people. And I remember once there was a meme that was just like, if you can leave the volume on an odd number, you're a freak. And I remember just thinking, what does this even mean? And then
And it
all in
doesn't
the
bother
comments,
me per
like,
se.
people are like, yes, I need it to be even. I need it to be even. Didn't realize
No,
it
like
was a
if you're adjusting it and you put it on an odd number, I'm not going to be like, excuse me, I won't care. And
yeah,
even for me, if an odd number is appropriate, but if like if the higher number, the
yeah.
even number is too loud, like I'll do odd. But I usually like, you know,
Yeah, but no, I said though, I do think that people feel more comforted by even numbers, but I don't know why. If a certain number, or like if you're setting an alarm, I feel like people either like it on like a 10 minute or on a 5 minute, but no in
yeah.
between. No one wants to set an alarm at like 8:32. It makes them feel
Like
weird.
what time do you
But
wake up? I wake up at 8:04.
yeah,
But
people
I
like it at
will
like
say,
the
when I was a child, from the first 3 years of school, I don't know why we did this. I should ask my parents. I guess I never, I think I was too little to think about it. But in the
Okay.
mornings, oh, it's because they went to work. Yeah, my parents, I just never thought about why we did this, but I did it for like 3 years of my life. My parents would take me in the morning to across the street to a woman's house, Mrs. Sleshelman, and I would stay with her for a while in the morning before I had to go to school. And it's just because my parents left for work early.
Sure.
I never realized that that is why we did that. Never put that together until now. Um, I just did it because they told me. But for that time, I always woke up at 6:24 because my dad told me that 6:24 was enough time for me to get up and get ready to leave the house in time. And then
Okay.
I would stay at her house until 8:13, and I would leave her house and walk to school at 8:13. Because my dad
Wow.
told me that's when you do these things. And knowing
How
my dad, I'm like, my
interesting.
dad would do this. He would calculate and be like, this is what
The
such
the
I could.
optimum
My dad is
time
like,
is the optimum
yeah.
time.
My dad is,
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting man. So Seth, would you like to read this slide quickly before we move on?
Good. So idioms. An idiom is an expression that means something other than the literal meanings of its individual words. Many English idioms involve numbers or number phrases. Example, they are on cloud nine. What do you think this phrase mean, or what does this phrase mean to you? And do you know any other number idioms?
Yeah, so I think maybe we can just talk about this phrase and then go on because
Mhm.
they list a whole bunch of other idioms. So what does "they're on cloud nine" mean to you, Seth?
Being on cloud nine is um, oh, it's a nice idiom. So usually when you're on
Uh,
cloud, I think it's probably. Do you think it comes from Dante or something? The idea of being in
yeah,
like
I do, of like
in
the levels of heaven or the levels of hell.
yeah. And so cloud nine is just being in a happy place. But like it looks like in this picture, these people just got married. No, she has her
Ah,
veil. I don't
sure,
know.
sure.
But so like you would be really happy on that day, and so you'd be in cloud nine. But it's like it's used when something is really going well for you, when you're really happy,
Yeah,
really
you
good
can almost say
news. Like maybe if
when someone's feeling a bit smug, you can say, "Oh, they're on cloud nine."
yeah, we could use it that way
Just
too.
really pleased.
Because also, like I think, like if you find out you're gonna have a baby, you're so excited. That would be cloud nine.
If
You
you
know,
if you
it's
want a
really
baby, if
if you
want
want
to
to
pay
pay me.
Otherwise, maybe
Okay,
you'll be
yeah.
on like level 9 below. I don't know.
Yeah.
Situation depends. But yeah, no, it's a nice phrase. Have you ever been on cloud nine, Seth? Can you ever remember a time?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would think maybe sometimes after performing, when I was a dancer and also a
Mm,
musician, like when things went really, really well, there's just like this really exciting like energy and happiness when it's like an adrenaline thing, but you're
oh,
super,
sounds
super
nice.
happy. Yeah, it is. It's probably why people
Good.
continue and want to be performers because there's this like wonderful adrenaline that comes with it.
Ooh, maybe we'll do a Maya's event. We'll put on a play. You can do ballet.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Uh, I'm not sure how we'll tie in English, but we'll make it work. Okay, so here we have some idioms and some definitions. Um, so if I read on the left, the idioms, then maybe Seth,
Okay.
you can read the definitions and then we'll discuss them. So number 1, four corners of the earth. Number 2, at sixes and sevens. Number 3, once in a blue moon. Number 4, a dime a dozen. Number 5, back to square one. And number 6, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And actually, there are 2 of these phrases. One of these phrases I don't know, and the other one I can probably guess, but I don't use.
Okay. Oh, I would agree. There's one that I'm not super familiar with either. Okay. So the meanings in red are rarely, all over the world, solve 2 problems at once, start over, in a state of confusion, and cheap and common.
And just in case anyone is unsure, a dozen just means 12, number 12, and a baker's dozen, although again, I don't really know anyone who says this, is 13.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I put up the banner too. Like if you are watching at home and
Mm,
in Italian you have. It's really interesting because these idioms reveal about culture, like we were saying. So
yeah.
if because they're interesting
Ah,
for us
Seth.
to know too. So.
Yeah, I think some of them are really funny as well. I love Italian
Mhm.
idioms. Okay, so for the first one, four corners of the earth. I think this is quite obvious. What would you say, Seth?
Mhm. Well, we've got the picture up there that can kind of help. So the 4 corners of the earth
Yeah,
basically mean everywhere. So um, it would all
exactly.
over the world. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, to
exactly.
go
Maybe you'd use
everywhere.
it with something like someone has traveled to the four corners of the earth, so they've gone all over the world. You can use it
Mhm.
literally, like if someone has done a really big travel, or you can use it to exaggerate, like I traveled to the four corners of the earth to get you this coffee this morning. So you better be
Yeah.
grateful. This kind of this kind of thing. um so then the second one is actually the one that I don't know. I don't know what a sixes and sevens means.
I don't either, but I think when I look, do you have a guess? Because I have a guess. Do you think it's
Well,
are we at sixes and sevens over the meaning of this?
I think I think so. I think it's because it's the only definition as well that I wouldn't be sure about. So yes,
Give it a
okay. If
click.
you're at sixes and
Yeah.
sevens, I don't know where you're in a state of confusion, but somewhere in the world they use this phrase,
That's
and a state of confusion. Interesting.
And I wonder why, because usually these develop from something, but I don't know what sixes and sevens would be.
Oh, no idea. No idea. Um, okay, so then for number 3, we have once in a blue moon. Um, and again, I don't actually really know what a blue moon is. But we know
I
there
know
are
what I
times of
do.
the year. Oh, do you? What is it?
I
What is
do.
it? Tell me. Tell
A
me.
blue moon is when it has to do with the cycle of the moon, which I think is
Sure.
28 days. So a blue moon is when you have 2 full moons in 1 month.
Ah, I didn't know that.
So
Oh,
it would mean that
lovely.
the full
Okay.
moon is
Wow.
happening like on the first of the month and it goes through the whole cycle, and so you have another,
Ah,
which doesn't happen very often,
interesting.
which is why we say it happens once.
No. Exactly. So if it's not something that happens often, it's a rare occurrence. So we can say if something happens once in a blue moon, oh no, it's rare. No, I've given away the next one by mistake. Um, but maybe you can explain this to me because this is the second one I'm not so sure about. Because in the UK we don't use dimes for currency, so I don't really
Right.
know what that
Okay,
is.
yeah. So a dime is one of the coins in the United States, and a dime is because we have dollars and we have cents,
Sure.
right? So a dime is 10 cents. So it's not a lot of money. And so if something is a dime a dozen, it means they're cheap. You can buy a lot of this
Ah,
for a
you
little
can
bit of
buy
money.
12 of them for 10 cents.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
and
Okay.
and usually it's used in when like cheap and common in the sense of like quality, like they're diamond, or we can also in the sense of like, should we buy these here, or should we, if we go to another store, are we going to
Ah,
find what we need? And you say, oh yeah, yeah,
oh,
these are a dime a dozen. You find them
oh,
everywhere.
nice.
It's easy
I
to
like
find
it.
these. Yeah.
Ah, and Lavinia has finally
Thank you.
decided to speak to us.
Just
Yay.
working.
Okay. So we can have to be in the seventh heaven. I'm not going to try to pronounce these. I'm embarrassed. um, number 2, which is like, let your flag be moved by all the 4 winds. Ooh, to reveal something about someone. Okay, that's quite
Nice.
cool.
Don't we
I
have
like
something
it. So
about
to reveal something.
do we have something about the winds? An expression about the winds? Um,
Um, I think not in the same sense. I can
no,
think
no.
of some phrases, but not in any that would mean like to reveal yourself. Um, and ooh, I like this. I like
Let
this
your
one a
seven
lot.
sudar kamish. Nice. I work so hard, like I sweat through 7 shirts.
This one I
Nice.
think is my favorite one. I really like that. Thank you, Lavinia.
It's nice. I mean, yeah, it is. It's nice to hear them because and
And so
we
I like
also
I
have.
like when you can use them in English as well, because now I can say to my family, sweated through 7 shirts. And they'll be like, oh, Jadene, you're so funny and creative.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In seventh heaven, I think in English we say seventh heaven as well. Cloud nine or seventh heaven will be similar, no?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say they're in the same vein.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 2 more idioms left. We have back to square one and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And also, I just realized we didn't talk about the first one, which is 2 peas in a pod. And
Oh yeah,
if
I like
two
that one.
if 2 people, I like it too. If 2 people are described as 2 peas in a pod, it means they're really close, they're really similar, they get on very well.
Mhm.
They'll Seth and another person, Seth and Lavinia are like 2 peas in a pod. They just get on really well.
Yeah, yeah. It's a nice expression.
So what do we think then for numbers 5 and 6?
back to square one. I have a feeling this must come from maybe from games or something. But back to square one is you have to begin over again when you're working on something and for some reason it doesn't.
Hang on, Seth, do you speak Italian? Because I think I know what that means, but if it's wrong, then.
But Lavinia, why? That's okay. Yes.
Okay, so it is a bad one.
Your tush.
It's
Your
okay. I knew it.
But
So like button shirt is when two people are similar.
Nice.
I'm not
We
really sure
probably
why.
have a vulgar one in English. I'm sure English has so much.
Shirt. But why? They don't. They're not even like the shirt is not for that body part. Maybe because you have to tuck it in. I don't know.
Maybe it's possible, I suppose.
I enjoyed that. Thank you.
You really like that one. You really like that one.
I do. I like a swear word every now and then. Okay, yes. So back to square one. You were saying it's like games.
Yeah, maybe back to square one in a game when you have to go back to the beginning box to start.
Yeah, exactly, which is quite frustrating usually. So if you've made progress in something, maybe a common game matters, and you're really near the top, and then you go down a snake back to the beginning, you're back to square one, you have to start all over again.
And yeah, this is used in a frustrating. This is when you're upset. Like we use it's not just like, oh, let's do it over again. This is like we've been working all day and now our work is gone. We have to go back to square one.
Go back to square one.
No.
Okay, so of course we finally have kill two birds with one stone, which is a horrible phrase actually, but it's to solve two problems at once.
I think in Italian they have this.
Go.
They say with a bean. I think you kill the birds with a bean, not a stone. Uh-oh. You've gone away for a moment.
I don't know how effective that would be, but okay. So I know we only have a few minutes left of. Oh no, am I here? Hello? Hello?
Am I still here? Oops.
Come back, Seth. Okay, as we wait for Seth to return to us, I can see him just below. He's coming. I think for the end of the lesson, we can just discuss these questions. So looking at the phrases we just learned, and then we'll do a summary. So at the top as well, we have a new phrase. So to put two and two together means to work something out. Hello.
Hi.
So yes, to solve a problem, to find an answer to a problem. But usually it's when you understand the situation. Okay. So Seth, can you hear me? No. Where are you going? Okay, so then anyone who is watching is able to type in the comments answers to these questions. But if you don't want to, that's fine. I'll just give my own examples and then we'll do a summary. So question number 1, what do you do once in a blue moon? Question number 2, have you ever killed two birds with one stone? What happened? Question number 3, when was the last time you had to go back to square one? And question number 4, when did you feel at 6s and 7s? And What did you do about it? So Seth has said, for number 4, now I'm at 6s and 7s. This is because he is still here with us. We're just having a technical problem. And Seth?
Maybe this is better. I think my camera, but you can hear me at least, yeah?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you. That's fine.
That's
So yeah,
fine.
we're just talking through these phrases. So excellent. So Seth was just at 6s and 7s because he was confused and he didn't know what to do. What did you do? How did you solve this problem?
Well, actually, my original intention was just to turn off my camera, but I accidentally completely left the feed. So, which made me even more at 6s and 7s because you were saying Seth is gone, and I was like, I'm not gone. I was talking out loud the entire time. So,
Okay, interesting. So, um, have you ever had to go back to square one for something, Seth, or about something?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I'm trying to think like with language. Oh, right now maybe I might say it's not a literal back to square one, but I speak French because of my mother's. My mother is from Quebec, from the French part of Canada,
Okay.
and I grew up speaking French. And at this point, I feel like I'm at square one with French because
Oh
if I tried
no.
to speak French, I speak Italian. um, but I know it's just practice because the other day I was reading a book in French and it's just I have lost the habit of talking, of speaking. I feel
Speaking is
sometimes like I'm at
definitely a
square one.
habit.
Oh yeah, for sure. We might feel like we're back to square one when we go back to work when this quarantine is
Maybe,
gonna take
maybe, but
some adjustment.
that's a square one I would welcome.
Yeah,
So,
right.
okay. So, have you ever killed two birds with one stone? I'm trying to think if I've ever done this before, but I'm sure I have because I am quite a lazy person, so I enjoy getting things out of the way. I enjoy doing one thing to finish two. Um,
Oh,
but
I did
no.
the other day because I
Okay, fine.
hurt my on Tuesday. I don't know what I did, but I hurt my back. I was
Okay.
picking up this very light box, and I bent over. It was not heavy at all, and like I had like an old man movie moment. Like I grabbed my back and couldn't stand up. I was like, "Are you serious?"
Oh, you're so
And
young.
I know. That's why it was stupid. But then I needed to. This isn't the best example of this phrase, but it's of killing two birds with one stone. But it gets the
Okay.
job done. But I'm also during this quarantine period, I'm doing some translations for friend, and every
Okay.
day she sends me a document. Well, I have a list of documents, and she gave them to me in a particular order. Um, and I didn't. The one she had given me for Tuesday was kind of long, and so instead, I didn't want to work that much because my back was bothering me. So I switched. I did a shorter one because I could get done faster. So it kind of helped me in two ways because it was the work I needed to do, and it also helped me just continue the progress that I need to be making. So
Okay.
it's kind of a two birds
Okay.
with one stone example.
Kind of. You got to relax and do work.
Yeah.
It's two birds. Two birds. Um. And okay. So finally, is there anything you do once in a blue moon? For me, it's
Um,
probably go to the gym.
that perfect. Excellent. That's it.
I
Um,
do go sometimes, but yes, it is not common.
I would say that again, just right now in the quarantine, going outside.
Yes, that's also true.
Oh,
Okay, excellent. So we're at the end of the webinar now, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. I'm just quickly going to do a summary. But if you have any questions, then ask us now, of course, while we're still here. But first, we looked at the different meanings of number. So it can be used to refer to a group of people, to an outfit, to a song, but a song in a set of songs, so not a song alone. Also to physically put or write numbers on pages. And in the phrase, her number was up, which means it was time to die, which is quite scary, but there you go. We then had a discussion on different cultures and different languages and how numbers can mean different things. And finally, we looked at some idioms. Again, all about numbers. And then we've just used a couple in a final conversation. So I think it was nice. We did well.
Yeah. Thanks for Lavinia. You were pretty active with us, so thanks for that. It was fun getting some of those, especially the one about our shirt and our
There we go.
bum.
We've also learned some Italian. So I think it's been quite successful. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thanks a lot, you guys. See you.